Hello everyone, this is Club 10M Plus's exciting new podcast that's here for you. We are all about stories, new developments and learning about individuals. Our hope is that you will join us every week to hear about our distinguished guests. We hope to inspire you, bring you laughter and make you reflect. Our guests come from all walks of life and primarily they want to share their stories. Not sure about you, but I love a good story. So Club 10M Plus have devoted their time to creating these podcasts, to sharing great ideas and stories and much more. So tune in every week to make sure that you don't miss out. It could be you next week. Want to know more? We want to hear your stories. So sign up and be our next guest. And hi, LeTonya. Good morning to you. I'm so grateful that you have joined me today to discuss whatever it is we're going to discuss today about business. And handing over to you and welcome again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm LeTonya Moore. I am a United States based attorney. I am also a business coach and consultant. I do a lot of federal regulatory work, but I also dibble and dabble in the branding and kind of building your brand, like from an operation standpoint. So very excited to be here to talk about all of the things business that I know that you want to discuss today. One thing I'm very proud of is that I've created a system or a methodology that we call how you can legal proof your business. And so it's really about the intersection of law and all of the different areas of business so that you can make sure that you are building a sound, sustainable business that you can scale.
That sounds amazing. So we're going to kind of look at this so if I'm a new business, what do I need to do next?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's kind of difficult to just have one thing that we suggest for new businesses because there are a lot of different factors that we look at. But here's what I will say fundamentally. You have to make sure that you have the appropriate business structure. So, for example, in the US, we have multiple business structures. Of course, we have your LLC, we have different types of partnerships, we have different types of corporations, and we have sole proprietorships, and so on and so on and so forth. But you really need to understand your industry. You really need to understand your goals so that you can determine which one of those business structures are the best for you. But as a tip, you definitely have to have the right business structure. Number two, when you are looking at building a brand, putting out a product, something that you want to be affiliated with, whether it's your name, whether it's your logo, you really need to think about securing your intellectual property because now the marketplace is global. Even for a micro business, a one or two man shop, you're still probably doing business in other countries just because of how social media and the digital marketplace works. So you really need to start to think about making sure that you're protecting your intellectual property, not just in the country that you live in, but also in the other countries where you see that you have a high demand for your products. And so that would actually be step number two or tip number two. Make sure that you are doing that. Tip number
So
three is
picking, I was going to say, just before you go to three, typically we're looking more and more at this. IP is getting more and more important around the world because we are globally accessible. And it means that just because I've thought of it here, someone else may have thought of it somewhere else. And whoever gets to market first becomes the competition. So, yeah, good point. I will make a note. So, point three, you were going to say?
yeah, the last point, point three, is really about understanding the financial landscape of your business. How much money do you need to actually launch the business and keep it afloat for 6 months, 1 year, whatever your time frame is? Understanding how to properly set up the proper accounts. And also, understanding taxation, right? All of those things really impact the financial sustainability of your business, even pricing. I deal with both product and service based businesses, and what I see a lot with my product based businesses is that they don't understand how to really measure profit because they're not thinking about their costs, their different components, their different ingredients in a way that will allow them to really maximize on profits without compromising quality. So those are the three, I would say, umbrella areas that you definitely need to think about when you are starting your business.
Excellent. So we've covered startups. So somebody has been in business for quite a few years now, and now they're deciding, you know what? I don't know whether to carry on. I want to sell. What would you tell them? What's the best advice at that point?
Again, it really depends on your present situation. One of the things that we do with the businesses that we work with, we kind of start with the end in mind. When you first start, you have to think about, right now, am I building this as something that is going to be sustainable and is going to be a part of my estate plan, or is this something that I'm really building so that I can create an asset that I can exit and make a profit? All of those are those two are things that you should really think about at the very beginning. But here are some tips. What's going on in your industry? What's going on in your market? Why are you thinking about selling if you are? It could be that maybe you don't have to sell, because some people, they're thinking about selling because maybe they just need an infusion of cash. Maybe they're just tired of running the day to day. But instead of selling, there are other things that they may do. They may decide to take on a partner that wants to run the day-to-day operations so that they can kind of step away and travel and do some of the things that they want to do. So I would start with really speaking with them and chatting with them about what is that thing that is prompting you to ask those questions and make those decisions about the next steps in your business.
Do you know what? Sound advice there. It's all coming through. You're absolutely right. I mean, yeah, it's almost like starting with the end in mind is more important than actually running the business at this point. Because if you know where you're going, you kind of make it easier for you as you're going along, because you're like, and I need this, and I need this, and this has to happen. When you kind of go from a place of, let me just try this, I'm enjoying it, to not planning and not looking at how to grow your business and what things you need to bring in, it's obviously not the kind of environment that you want to find yourself in. So when someone like you comes along and you're like, well, why haven't you thought of these things? Do you get clients that go, aha, that's where I'm going wrong? This is what's not happening for me. I mean, do you get those kind of clients that kind of, just doing it because dad did it and we do it this way. We've always done it like this and no real end goal in mind?
Absolutely, because oftentimes people don't think about that. Like, usually they think about what is going on right now that, that's making me want to launch this business or making me want to now be a part of the family business. You haven't thought about the exit. And oftentimes people, because just as humans, we don't like to think about the exit. We don't like to think about the exit from existence, right? So we definitely don't like to think about the exit of a thing anyway, because we just think that this is something that is going to be perpetual. And so therefore we don't plan. And so in those situations, I think that it's really important to ask yourself, one, why am I getting into it? Why am I starting? But what do I see this as, where does this fit in my life's plan? And if it fits in your life's plan where I'm going to do this until like they just find me in the office, then that's fine. That means that you have no goals as far as selling the business or selling your part. But also, if your plan is, well, I'm going to do this and this is going to be my retirement, then there are lots of other things that have to be put in place to make sure that you are secure in those later years.
Somehow today everyone's talking about retirement, thinking about it. So you're absolutely right. It is about future proofing yourself, and I think as individuals, as people, we kind of go, it's fine, it'll be taken care of. I've got a pension, I've got this, I've got that. But actually, we are in control of those moments in our lives that we can say, no, this is how I want it to be, and this is how I want it to look. So coming to you is a really, really good idea. And especially when you have businesses that need help, and I guess with your experience, you've probably seen a lot of issues and problems along the way that people could have avoided had they planned properly.
I see that all the time. I mean, that pretty much is with everyone. And here's the thing, sometimes you can plan and still miss something. Sometimes you can plan and something in the industry or something in the market will shift, and you have to understand that with being a business owner, there are going to be ebbs and flows. There are going to be ups and downs. And you have to ask yourself, am I willing to ride the wave? Am I prepared to ride the wave? Because it is a long game. It is not a get rich quick, regardless of the type of industry that you're in. It is just not a get rich quick. It's not an end all be all. You're not going to reach the ultimate goal in 3 days. That is just not typical for a business. And so I think that these are all the things that people have to think about. But to your point, absolutely, there are people that come and they are not prepared. I've also seen people that have literally been operating with no plan for 10 or 12 years and have been very successful. They just did not know how much because they weren't properly structured. They didn't have a lot of other things. And so once we work with them to put those things in place, they see how much of an improvement there is for them, because now they're properly structured. They have profit and loss sheets. Like, they see that where the money is coming in, they see where the money is going out, they see the profit, they see all of these things that they did not necessarily see, even though functionally they were doing them.
Isn't that interesting? I love it. Human nature, we can do anything, but you know what? Sometimes the structure helps iron out the issues. So, LaTonya, one takeaway that everyone needs to know about business.
Absolutely. I say always do something that is both that you're passionate about, but that is also profitable. Because if you do something that you love, but you're not making any money, eventually you're not going to be happy. But also, if you make a lot of money doing something you hate, you're going to have burnout. So I would say find something that you can be both, that you can be passionate about, but it's also profitable.
Hey, top words there. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and it's been a pleasure having you on here.
Thank you for having me.
Hello, everyone. This is Club 10M Plus's exciting new podcast that's here for you. We are all about stories, new developments, and learning about individuals. Our hope is that you will join us every week to hear about our distinguished guests. We hope to inspire you, bring you laughter, and make you reflect. Our guests come from all walks of life, and primarily they want to share their stories. Not sure about you, but I love a good story. So Club 10M Plus have devoted their time to creating these podcasts, to sharing great ideas and stories, and much more. So tune in every week to make sure that you don't miss out. It could be you next week. Want to know more? We want to hear your stories, so sign up and be our next guest.